Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I am your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to our Crypto Frontier segment brought to us by CCP Digital. We have our regular contributor, CEO of CCP Digital, Chris Pulley, and today he's joined by his good friend and industry expert CEO of Rair Tech, Ed Prado. Now, Rair Tech is a blockchain-based distributed digital rights management platform that enables streaming NFTs. And today, we're chatting about NFT utilities. Now, one is going to ask, well, what does it mean for an NFT to have utility? Well, utility NFTs are basically NFTs with use cases well beyond just being unique digital assets. They basically grant their owner privileges they would not otherwise be able to access. Now, the total trading volume of NFTs went from 200 million in 2020 to over $12 billion, guys, just in the first quarter of this year alone. So for that value to be sustainable, there needs to be more to NFTs than just market hype and FOMO. Now, utility NFTs, which are NFTs with actual use cases, like we just said, could yet be the driving force that transforms these very NFTs from an investment craze into a new way to work, play, and even interact. Perhaps the easiest way to understand utility NFTs is with an example. Okay, so let's just say you're holding a concert with 800 spaces available. You could issue 800 paper tickets. Each paper ticket will be unique or non-fungible, so to speak, in the sense that it's going to have its own unique ticket number. Now, but each unique paper ticket confers the same right and privilege or utility. Now, that utility is, in this case, entry to the concert. Instead of issuing 800 paper tickets, the concert organizer could issue 800 utility NFTs. Now, each of the 800 NFTs would, of course, be unique and non-fungible, but just like the tickets, each one would grant its owner the same privilege or utility entrance to the concert. Sounds simple enough? Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. And here to chat some more are my experts at hand. Welcome to the show, Ed and Chris.
Thanks for having us.
Indeed.
Ed, your platform makes it possible, really, to attach digital goods to an NFT using encrypted streaming, making today's NFT really multi-dimensional, if you will. You have a deep financial tech experience. There are many ways to add utility to an NFT. It's almost less about the technology itself and more about the application of that technology. How can a standard NFT become a utility NFT, in your words?
So thanks for having us. Well, let's go back to your example, because I think that was a good starting point. So let's say you have a concert ticket that is an NFT, and all the concert goers are allowed to attend the concert. And they use the NFT to access the concert, which is awesome. They're also able, before the concert, to maybe trade the NFT if they're not able to go to the concert. So all of a sudden, you've solved one of the biggest problems of concert goers, which is all the people that try to resell tickets and all the brokers and the like. With Rair, what we're doing and focusing on is basically using the NFT as an authentication mechanism. So as a sort of a token gating. And if we can prove that you own the NFT or token, we allow for an encrypted experience to be attached to that token. So in the concert experience, let's say after the concert, you end up with an NFT, and that then becomes sort of a proof of attendance. Like, hey, I went to the concert. Much like you go to a concert and I have a corkboard from my college days that has all the pinned concerts that I went to. Well, you'd have these virtual, proof of attendance of these concerts in your crypto wallet. And through Rair and what we've done, you could then go to a site, a drop page site, and with that proof of attendance, experience perhaps highlights of the concert that would only be available to you because you're an owner of the NFT.
Nice.
So this would be an encrypted video, or maybe it'd be like a couple of songs, or maybe the band would reach out and maybe do something special for you. That is true utility. We are moving away from the, majority of NFT projects right now have been based on, PFPs, JPEGs, GIFs, things that are just totally visual. And you feel a membership to some club, but where's that club going? Because all you have is, a visual sort of documentation that you belong to the club. And what we're doing here at Rair is we're trying to expand that to include videos, music, podcasts, documents, even access to other computers and databases.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, look, just days after releasing When You See Yourself, which was the King, it was the King of Leon, that they became the first band to release an album, When You See Yourself, right? And as well as being released as NFTs, the album was released in conventional formats too on platforms such as Spotify and iTunes. And the album release featured these different types of utility NFTs that you're talking about. And I remember when I was looking through it, one type of NFT included digital artwork and a digital download of the music, and you could also be redeemed for real life physical limited editions of the vinyl copy of the album. So that was quite interesting. So I'm seeing this starting to really kind of transcend, not just in the music industry, but when you're looking at all the use cases, just days after releasing When You See Yourself, Ed, in part of a series of NFT tokens, Kings of Leon had already made $2 million from NFT sales. And of that, over $500,000 went to Crew Nation, which is a relief fund for music crews during the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond. So I love it that it's really, solving real world issues. Chris, let's chat the future of utility NFTs. So utility NFTs are in their early stages right now. What are some innovative new use cases that are emerging that you've seen?
Well, I think having Ed on here is a perfect example, as he's founded Rair Tech, and we're looking at Rair Tech for some projects because of the ability for it to bring this unique use case. For example, Macroverse will be releasing some of the first graphic novel NFTs, and really NFT access, because the graphic novels even themselves is too much data to store inside the NFT. And the ability for a company like that to deliver the NFTs, and soon with technology that's even available today, be able to offer subscription to an app and deliver content, video, music, just like we were describing. But imagine this coming now, like a brand new Netflix just pops up and there's a new app that's competing with Hulu and HBO. I mean, the technology is going to allow the creator verse, just the most level playing field to get access to distribution to their audiences that we've probably, I'll see in my lifetime.
It's quite revolutionary because in the future, I mean, if you really think of it, they could replace everything from health insurance cards to loyalty cards to season tickets. I mean, with NFT holders being able to access healthcare discounts or even entrance to these events that we're talking about. But businesses could incentivize sales, if you think of it, with NFTs that could be redeemed for discounts or freebies in the future, kind of sending paper discount tokens to the history books. So I love where this is going. Ed, some NFTs are purchased simply because of the artwork. That being said, it's likely a very small percentage of successful NFT projects, in my opinion, just for the artwork, so to speak, without the utility of being able to attend events or receive future NFTs for free. People are less likely to purchase a JPEG simply because they find it visually appealing. But the important part to note is that NFTs work using smart contracts. I know this is one of your area of expertise, and these smart contracts built into the NFT can represent virtually anything, to my understanding. Why are these smart contracts so important? Who writes them? And is this the rise of a new legal area, so to speak?
Yes, and yes. Certainly the rise of a new legal area. I mean, we are engaging into sort of technology has outpaced the physical sort of realm that we've been operating in forever. And so to start with, who writes these smart contracts? So most of these NFTs are on layer 1 or some derivative of layer 1 Ethereum. And Ethereum has these smart contracts that are somewhat canned contracts that you could manipulate and use and add to them So programmers actually write the smart contracts, which is really important because a smart contract's only as smart as the programmer makes it. And sometimes the programmer's vision of the utility or the intent of the contract is different than the business side of things. So all that is really, really important. I mean, we talk a lot about how the importance of minting. So minting is the creation of the NFT and the smart contract and kind of putting that together. And we've built basically a minting factory that mints on Ethereum and anything that is EVM compatible, which is Ethereum virtual machine compatible, Polygon, Binance, Clayton, Avalanche, anything that's layer one derivative. But it's really important that the contract emulates what the intent is, because otherwise you have a contract that's not very smart because it's going to do something different than what was intended. So that's really, really important. And I think you're right. I think that the legal part of this, which will come, it always comes after the technology part. It'll come in droves because there's only going to be a lot of sort of legal gray areas and places that are going to be subject to legal interpretation.
Yeah. So if I'm understanding this correctly, I want to be mindful of time. We have about 3.5 minutes left, but utility is made possible through the smart contract technology that NFTs have. And this utility then has to be coded onto that smart contract of the NFT. And then the utility can come in a vast of different ways, to my understanding. And this can include even like an airdrop for future NFTs and all these, other verticals. But if I'm hearing this properly, utility should be based around the buyer's wants. Okay, so Chris, purchasers with a long-term hold mindset have a conviction frequently born from extended interaction and the associated community, as well as an appreciation for the actual project's roadmap that they are vested in. And a vast amount of utility is only successful if the project is being, bought with the intention for long-term hold. Why is this important for investors to realize, this long-term hold mentality? I know you're big on that. You have about 2 minutes.
That's important because it's definitely two different answers. On the speculation side, I just say good luck, because you're just speculating. It's almost like collecting cards or collecting, any collectibles we can think of today, just a different kind, and it's brand new. Now, thinking about getting involved in a community and making an investment into an NFT that gives you rights and utility, and you're part of that roadmap to deliver higher value at checkpoints. I'm all about that. I'm in 3 or 4 of those types of projects today, and it's just a way to bring a focus together to accomplish things. Good stuff, right? Not-for-profit organizations are following this model, and with the smart contracts that we're just discussing, the ability to do it with a clear conscience that what's supposed to be done with the funds and the resources is being done with the funds and the resources. So yeah, I'd say, pick the community if you're looking that you have a heart for and passion, and follow that. And then in that instance, the answer would be hold on.
That's right. And that is the mentality. And I know that at CCP Digital, you do a lot of work with respect to onboarding these special projects and these special companies, and really the infrastructure that is going to be needed for Web 3.0 probably lives all in the portfolio companies that you represent. So my hat goes off to you, Chris, and your team. We've run out of time, gentlemen. Ed, it was such a pleasure having you on. You are quite the expert. I would love to have you on again sometime soon. You are doing amazing things at Rair Tech. Chris, thank you so much for bringing on such amazing guests.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
And that was our Crypto Frontier segment, brought to us by CCP Digital. That was Ed Prado, CEO of Rair Tech. You definitely have to check them out at rair.tech, and head to ccp.digital for all your Web3, metaverse, crypto marketing, and infrastructure needs. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CCP Digital, bringing you a view from inside blockchain, cryptocurrency, and NFTs. Introducing the latest Blockchain Heroes series, Retro Rebellion NFT collectible card packs from the Nifty Company. Available January 2022. Find out more online at ccpdigital.com.
Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to our Crypto Frontier segment brought to us by CCP Digital. Today, we're chatting with Ed Prado, CEO of Rair Tech, and Chris Pulley, CEO of CCP Digital. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Chris and Ed, my experts.
Thank
Hey
you.
there.
All right. So this is really for both of you. You can answer the question. Maybe we'll start with Ed first. So there are a magnitude of different aspects that go into play in order to make an NFT project successful. And understanding how the market works and how to create utility that will incentivize purchasers to hold long term are key ingredients. The big question, Ed, is how do I make my NFT collection successful? So if you can stick to 3 bits of advice, what would they be?
Well, I think the first one is create utility that is commensurate with excitement for your audience. So do something that is sellable. There's a lot of terrible projects out there, as you started saying, the hype cycle in NFTs, and some projects were truly terrible and others sort of nailed it. So that's one. The other is focus on gaining some community prior to the drop. That's really critical. It's amazing, like the Twitter ecosystem is vital to the NFT drop sort of model right now, and you really need to create community. The last I would say is pre-sell. So create a whitelist, create some on-ramp so that when you do the drop, it's not just drop and pray it works. There's a lot of people in this market that think they mint it and they create an NFT, it'll sell. And that couldn't be further from the truth. These items need to be really marketed, and it's very sophisticated, and you need to create utility, promote it on Twitter, and create sort of a pre-market environment, just like anything else.
It almost sounds like any other business. It sounds like, if you're starting to, whether it's you're opening up a restaurant, you need to do all of those same things, but in the physical world. Over here, you're doing it on the digital world. And of course, breaking that barrier of going into that creator economy. Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I echo Ed's sentiments. I mean, it's really comes down to the value that you're providing to the market. Speculation and hype can only take you so far. Some have had success from the speculation and hype, but as we come into a maturing age, right, we're going to go through a few years now where we're going to see a lot of use cases for this amazing technology, right? There's things that we haven't even discussed or know to discuss about here today that's going to come from that, and I think that's the main thing is make sure that you're really bringing value. We're seeing a lot of projects tie through the smart contracts, a not-for-profit component that's hard coded into the smart contract. So there's no funny business. If we're doing this and 10% is going to charity, then 10% is going to charity, and you can't do anything about it. So I'm really excited about those components. Eliminate expenses related to moving money to charity, and with it being written in a smart contract, making sure that there's no temptation on anyone to do anything different with the funds.
Yeah, exactly. Who would have ever thought that we would be at a place where DeFi, right, decentralized finance almost, that propels and backs a lot of this, is really the rise of power to the people, but more importantly, the rise to transparency. It took us all of this time to get to where we are today. We needed a decentralized financial system to be able to have transparency. Think about that oxymoron, so to speak, right, Ed? I mean, if you're thinking of it from a global perspective, separate of it, that cryptocurrency is solving real world issues, and not necessarily tying this back into cryptocurrency, but when you have 1.7 billion unbanked people and or underbanked people in this world, they all have access to a smartphone, they could all trade cryptocurrency, they can all earn 10, 15 bucks a day, right? So it's solving real world issues. But now that you're applying, when you're thinking of this NFT, even if you're not an avid NFT collector, right, you might want to consider owning one of these utility NFTs, because it's going to come with useful perks, like you said, be it earning passive income or having exclusive access to events and items. I mean, utility NFTs have such a variety of uses and are likely, we're going to see even more, just like Chris said. But Ed, one of the things I wanted to ask you personally, because this is the world you live in, some think that NFTs are just the next fad after crypto. I think that they're inextricably linked, but only made possible because of digital ledger technology. Do you think that NFTs are going to outgrow crypto?
I think that NFTs are uniquely positioned in the market. I think that NFTs actually can create an onboarding effect for user adoption to crypto. So it's interesting. I talked to a lot of people that are like, I'm not into crypto, but I love NFTs. And that's a real thing. Like, people have been introduced to crypto vis-a-vis NFTs because it's something that is much more relatable to most people. Like, oh, wow, if I join this, and I'll tell you, as user adoption gains in NFTs, and as the friction, the difficulty of being with MetaMask and the wallet and the crypto, as that eases, and it has, and as the utility sort of increases, you're going to see a lot more people that play in the NFT vertical that may not know much at all about crypto. So they're related, but they're different. And I think that NFTs are positioned in a way that they can actually bring in droves of people to understand the mechanics of the blockchain and the magic of being able to be independent and not have third-party interfaces. And once you become comfortable trading a card or a picture or what have you on an NFT, then you become potentially more educated in trading ETH and Bitcoin and altcoins and the rest.
So true, so true. And our digital natives, these Gen Zers, they all know how to do this. I mean, well in advance, of where I ever knew how to do this, because I just came into it, 2018 and 19. But these kids are growing up with this, so they're speaking this language, and to a lot of
the kids,
go ahead.
Use case for the NFTs. You just think of the gaming industry, and just the simple fact we're having conversations about gaming and how kids go and spend all this money on their parents' credit card, buying their gems and buying their things in the game, and they leave and it's just all sitting there useless. NFT technology is what's allowing the ability to take all that energy the kids have put into one game and take them out in some form and value and trade it or move it to another game. So kudos to bring up the gaming side, because there's a great use case of real utility, because I want to give my son, here's 50 bucks, go play your game, and he can turn that 50 over into 50 over into 50 multiple times, and I don't have to keep shelling out money for him to play his games.
Oh yeah, don't talk to me about that. My subscription cards, my daughter's 6.5 years old, and these Roblox charges keep coming in, and I've about had it. I'm like, kid, this is a separate expense on a monthly basis. What are you doing? And for the most part, I don't want to be that Debbie Downer, but $5 here, $5 here, it adds up, right?
Totally.
Sandbox allows you to play basically the same game, although you can build and create and earn and sell what you've built and create a real digital economy. So great example between us.
Yeah. Well, I think the evolution of Web 3.0 with this evolution is going to come, the utility of NFTs, they're going to grow in prominence for both the creators and the owners. So I think we're headed in the right place. Ed, any wise words you want to add before we sign off here?
Well, I would just say that outside of the consumer play, I think there's a lot of enterprise play. We're looking at a lot of instances where there's the instance of an enterprise NFT. So let's imagine a document that's attached to an NFT that's only accessible by those that have the NFT. Let's imagine asset movement within a very large entity that's represented by an NFT. So we're looking at a lot of these different use cases, and I think it spans way beyond the consumer side. I think the enterprise side will be a later adopter because they always are in some instances, but the sky's the limit, and there's really so many different applications for this exciting technology, and we're in the middle of it, and we're in an exciting place right now. And I feel like it's like Web 2.0 back in like 1995, where things are just getting going. And, some people just don't get it and can't imagine that banking's going to be done online. But I assure you that by the year, they predict by the year 2030, there'll be 1 billion people with active wallets. That'll be monstrous. So I'm excited to see the growth and be part of it, and be providing a product that creates the utility that engages the excitement on the consumer side, and even the enterprise side. We're working with a lot of entities that are coming up with novel use cases for NFTs.
You guys are doing a phenomenal job at Rair Tech, and it brings to mind, I'm just going to end the segment, digital apes. They were really the start as the virtual economy was coming into its own, or still is coming into its own. But the well-known Bored Ape Yacht Club first launched as nothing more than a series of NFT images, and since then, Bored Ape NFTs have become access passes to exclusive events, such as offering these rewards in the form of being able to mint new NFTs in addition to that. So if these NFTs can grant front row seats at rock concerts, then why can't they guarantee, year-round tickets at football matches, effectively replacing season tickets, right? So that's kind of where we're headed, but I love where it's going. And as a mom, it's got my seal of approval. It makes my life easier. And it also, I'm done with banks, but I'm not done with banking. So if you have a really trusted banking app, that's really all you need to be able to make some smart choices today. So you're coming out of power to the people and rise of the creator economy, to Chris Pulley's point.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're out of time. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Ed, it was a pleasure chatting with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
And that was our Crypto Frontier segment, brought to us by CCP Digital. That was Ed Prado, CEO of Rair Tech. You definitely have to check them out at Rair.tech, and head to ccp.digital for all your Web3, metaverse, crypto marketing, and infrastructure needs. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this.